So my husband and I, we've got 8-month-old twin daughters. We were actually diagnosed with a milk allergy when they were 4 months old. And the main symptom of that was increasing eczema on their skin, which actually progressed to such a severe point that their skin was really raw over a lot of their body. We removed the milk from the diet, which was fine, but then we were on to kind of healing the skin. Kind of our doctors and things recommended sort of really thick emollient ointments and some steroids. And the thick emollient cream we had to put on about 6 times a day at sort of peak to try and get a handle on it. So that was getting really full on. And as you can imagine with twins, that was quite a big proportion of my day, the time we could get to play together. And the girls were just absolutely miserable. They were really suffering. They didn't like to be touched, hugged, nappy changed. They weren't really engaging with play. Progress sort of stalled with that treatment. It was sort of doing a certain number of things to soothe the skin, but we just weren't finding that the skin was healing. And we were doing that for probably about 6 weeks and not really seeing much progress. And my husband actually stumbled upon HappySkin, and we decided to give it a try. And we basically went cold turkey on a lot of our creams and steroid usage, and we've never looked back. And now their skin is in amazing condition. And they're really happy kids now, and absolutely recommend it to anybody that we come across. So we actually initially we just used it 24/7. We decided okay, well, we were kind of going to totally ditch the creams pretty much totally, and we decided we would put them 24/7 in HappySkin, and we just use now natural creams on their face and neck and the bits that HappySkin doesn't cover. And we just decided we would give it a good couple of week trial and see if we saw any improvements, and we did, and we didn't see any reason to go back with that. After that initial 24/7 phase, they always sleep in it every night now, and in a day I try and always make sure they've got some sort of base layer vest over the stomach, and then we just try and layer up over that. When it's really hot, we've been sometimes wearing other things, and we often find that we have to go do a day of HappySkin after we've worn like a sort of more traditional outfit to try and repair any skin damage. But it's kind of as much time as we can spend in HappySkin, the better, and the more comfortable they are. I mean, it just was absolutely life-changing, I'd have said, for our girls particularly. I mean, they'd just be crying most of the day whenever they were touched, couldn't change their nappy, they weren't really playing. And then from my point of view, it probably took about at least a good half an hour to strip them both down, put all their emollients and creams on, and redress them 6 times a day. So we just didn't really go out, and it was harder to engage them in like play groups, meeting other kids and things like that. So I mean, it's not just been transformative for them, but it's brought me so much time back in the day, which ultimately I'm now spending playing with them, engaging with them, and they're going from strength to strength now. But it was a really tough time, so it's just totally radical. We were worried about taking the plunge and going against advice essentially that we'd been given by our doctor, and we kind of tried following that advice for enough time that we really felt like we'd given it a fair trial. But I would say that if they're in the same boat and got a really miserable child, and they're really kind of looking for something else, then I really don't see that they'd have anything to lose by giving it a go. I would say that a few days in, we were not tempted to give up on it, but it was quite nerve-wracking making the change. And probably for the first couple of weeks, the skin appeared to almost clear itself up, and then it would sort of like crack and dry and peel again, and then it would all of a sudden clear up again. We went through a few cycles of dry skin while the skin was repairing, and at that point I phoned your support team, who put me through to a guy who just talked me through kind of science of HappySkin, and was just rationalising that we were definitely getting the best out of it, and how what we were seeing was not unexpected, and kind of his take. And that kind of gave us the reassurance to carry on. And shortly after that, we really saw kind of the magic happen with the skin. And so I'd be sort of saying to people, if you go through the same situation, I think definitely call you guys up and try and get that reassurance. And I suppose give it a fair trial, because the skin looked massively improved the morning after we put it on. It wasn't red and distressed looking. It calmed down, but there was still a long time it took for the dry skin and things to repair. And for a while I was wondering whether the HappySkin did make a difference or not. But when we take it off, the areas that hadn't been in contact with HappySkin almost had like a sunburn line around their neck and their head and stuff. And then the rest of their skin, although it was dry, was totally pale and calm looking. So I'd say, do stick with it, because it, eventually I'm sure it will turn a corner. This feels like there's so much riding on it when your child is upset and distressed, and you, like, as a mother, you feel masses of agony thinking, am I really doing the right thing for my child, and is this in their best interest? And I'm so glad that we carried on with it, because I think if we were still using the same solutions that we tried before, I don't think we'd all be having the sort of happy play that we've got time for and things now.